Hey everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really nice thinking of you card. This is a great Christmas card to share, or it's also, it could be a great sympathy sort of a Christmas card if you know someone who has lost someone near the holiday, or someone where maybe this is a difficult time of year for them to celebrate. This would be a really nice card to be able to share because it's very thoughtful, has a nice subdued color palette, and it's just a very pretty card. Doesn't really have a whole lot to it, which kind of makes it nice as well. So I actually ended up using this. This is the Subtles embossing folder. And then what I did was I embossed it, and then I just dragged it with Balmy Blue. And then this one I ended up putting onto Pool Party. But what we're going to do for this one is we're going to actually back it onto Balmy Blue paper. So we have a half piece of Balmy Blue paper. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, and then it's scored at 5 1/2. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit that with my bone folder. And then we have a piece of Very Vanilla. This is 4 by 5 1/4, so that will be our layer. And then I actually used some of the Farmhouse, I believe it's Farmhouse Season DSP. I think that's wrong. Maybe it's on the back here. Festive Farmhouse DSP. They're all kind of named similarly, so you could use that. As of today, this is still in stock. If not, you could also swap out for some of the paper that we promoted a little while back that you could earn for free. This is the Dashing Along Designer Series paper. They brought this kind of back in stock since some of the other Designer Series paper sold out very quickly. So you guys really loved the paper this year, which is good. So you could use that. This is just the little piece of the boards. There's also a whitewash piece of paper in the Festive Farmhouse DSP. These are the other sides of them. So you could use that. And I did use, and again, this is still in stock right now, this is the little flag punch, and this is from the Farmhouse Framelits. And I used the Winterwood stamp set, so Thinking of You this season. Very mellow, could kind of go to any sort of a sentiment, but you could also add in Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. This is from Beautiful Baubles, or Deck the Halls if you wanted to make it a little more fun. You could also completely change up the color scheme of this, so you could skip the blue card and you could go with Christmas colors. And then if you have Farmhouse Christmas, this also has some really nice sentiments in it you could use as well. So again, as of right now when I'm making this video, everything is still in stock. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run this through the Big Shot, and also at the same time I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to cut it out with this. And then all we really have to do is just trim up these two pieces, add it all together. We're going to just drag this across, and I'll make it very simple. So sorry, one thing I was missing was just a little scrap piece of Very Vanilla, just to stamp this onto, and we're going to cut that out. So, sorry, I forgot that. And I'm actually going to stamp it into the Balmy Blue this time, just to kind of keep it with the same kind of sentiment for it. So I did the other one, when I did this one, I actually did it in black. So we're going to do this one in the same. And if you guys remember, our new clear cling mount stamps will be coming out soon. So what I've been doing as of late is I've been putting all of my stickers onto my clear mount stamps, and then I've been saving all of my extra, should have kept that out so I could show you. I've been saving all of my extra, so the liners that go with these, that go with the new cling mount stamps, I've been saving them, and then all I do is just put a teeny piece of it onto the back, and it does make the stamp super sticky. So kind of a nice way to be able to retrofit your stamps so you can see them. So I'm going to close this up just for now. We are going to use that again in a minute. But I will do a another video on that and show that to you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But it does make it pretty cool. So we're going to pull out our Big Shot. And when you're using the dynamic folders, which the Subtle folder is a dynamic folder. It is much, much, much thicker than a regular folder. If you can see that there, it's very thick. So you actually only need your Big Shot platform, your folder, and then one cutting pad, okay? Otherwise, you won't be able to get it through. So I'm going to crank this so you guys can see it. So I'm going to just put my piece of paper in here. And you do want to make sure, because we did this at class the other day, if you put this all the way up here, you'll have this little ridge here that won't actually emboss. So when you put your cardstock in, you can kind of put it right at the line, or you can just slide it down just a little bit, just like that. And I'm going to put this in. So the open end is facing into my machine. I'm going to put my cutting pad on top and then just crank it through. And it does take a little extra to push it through. Sometimes it feels a little tight, but it will work, no worries. So we have our piece here with the subtle. And then what I'm going to do is I have to put this back together. So I'm going to put my thin die adapter and my other cutting plate down. And then I'm going to put down my sentiment, and it's really nice with this, the way this is lined up. It makes you be able to line the words up really nice and straight. So I'm going to just set this on top. So I'm back to my regular sandwich, and I'm going to crank this through, cut this out. And I did use some ribbon on this. There you go, there's that piece. And it's really nice because it's, in addition to cutting it, it's also stitched. So it gives a little extra element to it. So when I was designing this card, I made this one quite some time ago. I'm not 100% sure. I might have used, this is, what color is this? Tranquil Tide ribbon, and it's velvet. This may since have been gone. So we'll use something just a little bit different so you guys can see what that looks like with a different piece. And then the only other thing we have to do is just trim up this little piece of cardstock or DSP that we used, excuse me. So this is 2 1/4 by about 4, which that's what I thought it was. So 2 1/4 by 4. Let me just grab my trimmer. And instead of using this piece, since we changed the color, we'll just switch this one up. I think this one should be 4. Yep, so we're just going to make this 2 1/4. So we'll just use this little whitewash piece instead. And also, we will swap to the metallic edge ribbon. And I know this, I think, might be on back order, but this is still in stock. I really love this too because you can also add color. So if you wanted to, you could take your either your marker and you could color this blue. So let's just give that a shot. I can show you what it looks like. So you can take your Stampin' Right marker and you can just color it. You could also do this with the Stampin' Blends. I'm just going to go over one more time just so I get a really nice even color coverage. It's a little darker in some of the spots where I went, but and I am also doing this on top of a Tonic Easy Clean mat. So when you're finished with it, if you get any marker there, you just wipe it off and it's very easy to clean. So I'm going to leave this on because I'm not sure exactly how much we're going to need. And one other thing I'm going to do, let me move this over so I don't lose it, is we're going to open up. So this is our layer. It's going to be our main piece and our layer. And I'm going to just open up my Balmy Blue stamp pad and see which side I like best. And it's the side with the bumps facing up. I'm just going to drag this down it, just like that. Doesn't have to be on the whole thing. Doesn't really even have to be uniform. As you can see, this one was definitely pretty splotchy. So you can have more pieces if you want. You could do like a darker spot at the top. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, and then same thing again. When I'm finished with this, it's nice. You just wipe it off. There's a couple things that have stained it, but quite honestly, it's okay. All right, now I'm going to just bring back my layers. So let me see if this is going to be big enough. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. So I'm going to trim this off. But I'm just going to do just a little bit more of an edge because I feel like where I'm going to put the adhesive down, I don't want to have to be pulling from the one side. All right, that's good. So I'm going to take my scissors and just cut this just like that. So I usually do that on the roll, kind of just figure out how much you need. And I'm going to wrap this. Let's see, we have this paper down first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use some Tombow liquid glue because with this being so bumpy, I just want to make sure that it really sticks well. Also, since it's a little bit damp. There we go. this on like that. And you can kind of move it around a little bit just to make sure it gets in all the grooves. So there's that. And then we're going to go ahead and just see how this fits. So I'm going to put this onto the back with some fast fuse. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. Oops, I knew I had a little glue dot somewhere. It got stuck there. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to kind of just eyeball where I want it. If I wanted to, I could bring this piece down a little bit. It's pretty good. I just kind of more so want to just make sure that it's actually straight. And you don't really want to pull it because you don't want to pull your cardstock up. You just want to lay it on there. So you just lay it, kind of slide it across so it looks pretty smooth. And I usually press it lightly when I do it at first just to make sure that it doesn't pull up. This one's pulling just a little bit, so I'm actually gonna flip it over, detach this, make sure it's nice and flat, and then just press just like that. Okay, and then what we can do is we can go ahead and add this on with a couple dimensionals. Just gonna put 3 of those on, just kind of straight across the middle. 1, 2, 3, and you can kind of line this up over top of your ribbon if you want to. You can put it so it's more centered. It really is up to you. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add, again, since we did emboss this, I'm going to do this with the liquid glue. And I'll put a little bit on here. I can get it to come out. Need to get out my new liquid glue. You could also put this on too with a sponge if you have one. Sorry, it's like everything always runs out when you're on camera. All right, now I'll make sure I have this so it opens the correct way. And I'm just gonna lay this right on top. And again, when you have the liquid glue, that's the cool part. You do kind of have the ability to be able to adjust it. And also, so I know because we put the dimensionals on with the ribbon here, so it's kind of onto the back. So if that's something that bothers you, what you could do is you could just take your either your regular Tombow liquid glue, or you could also take your fine tip glue pen, and you can just kind of lift this up just a little bit and put, so if you see where I'm putting this, just right inside here, just a dab of that liquid glue. And then just make sure you set it straight and just press, and then that'll hold that in place for you there. So that's another thing. That fine tip glue pen is really nice because you can get into like tight spaces. So anyway, there's the finished card. So this one is in full balmy blue, whereas this one we did in kind of a balmy blue pull pattern and then some tranquil tide as well. So I hope this inspires you to share maybe an uplifting card with someone this holiday season. I hope you have a wonderful day, and you can find all of the measurements for this on my blog, rachthestamper.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.